The next part of the lab will initiate groundwater flow. To do that, we're going to start flow in the river, which is right here. And I'm going to turn this drainage tube downward so that the water starts to flow. When I do that, I want you to notice what happens to the level of the water in the wells, the ones with the colors in them. So keep your eyes on that as I turn this drain downward and the water starts to flow. Now, as the water is flowing, you should see some changes in the level of the wells. We'll let that flow for a little while. You'll also see some changes in the aquifers as the water is flowing. Record any of those changes that you observe in the water table, particularly in the unconfined aquifer. So you probably noticed that the water went down, and I'm gonna take a pen and draw a line for the unconfined aquifer here. Notice that I am keeping it near the tops of the blue wells. Then it comes down to here where the water is saturating the land, and it comes back up like that. So the initiation of water flow looks like that. And then the other observation you need to make is that whether the water levels in the deep wells are higher or lower than the water table that I just drew in. As we let this flow, you should start to see some of the blue dye leaking out into the unconfined aquifer. So while we're waiting for the blue dye to move out, you should answer questions 2A through G in your lab manual. Now, if you're looking at the green wells, you should notice that they are much higher. Here's the top of the green wells. They're higher than the blue wells. So what does that mean about hydraulic head? About the flow of groundwater there? Is it moving up or down? One way to check that is to remove the cap pipe from the deep aquifer well right next to the stream, and watch carefully what happens to the green wells when I take this cap pipe off. If I can get it off. Maybe, there we go. So if you notice, when I pulled that out, water started to come out. That's because that's an artesian well. And that artesian well, the water is coming upward. If I can get, gosh, I can't get the cap pipe off of there. Ugh. Okay, we'll let that flow for just a few moments, but notice that the level in the green wells generally went down. This one has a bubble in it. See if we can get the bubble out. Then you'll see that the green wells went down. Now, if I put the cap pipe back in, and I'm not going to try to take it back out again because it seems to be a problem, you'll notice the green wells go right back up. All right, so what does that mean about flow there? Now that we've let it run a little bit longer, we can begin to see that there's some dye leaking out into the unconfined aquifer. There's some here, there's some going like this, there's some going like this, and like this, right? So we can see that the groundwater is starting to flow, and the flow is in the direction of the lake or the river. So the flow is going toward whatever the outlet is for that particular area. So take some time to answer the questions associated with groundwater flow, and we'll come back and do the leaking lagoon momentarily.